Good morning and welcome back to Warhammer. In the last video we played as the turbo-augmented super kleptomaniacs known as the Blood Ravens. We battled great evils, shot our friend in the face and inadvertently released an ancient space demon upon the galaxy. Oops. In Winter Assault we take control of the humble guardsman whose only wish in life is to eat his corpse starch rations in peace and kill heretics, and Xenos, and demons, and pretty much anything else you tell him to kill. You have been sent to the ice planet of Lorn V to repo the 18-story tall, planet-ending Imperator-class Titan Dominatus. It was stashed here during a minor family quarrel about 10,000 years ago, when half of the Primarchs found God and then tried to convert the other half by burning down the galaxy. Because nothing says, hey, come and join the team as planet-wide blood sacrifices. It was called the Horus Heresy, by the way, and there's like, I don't know, 2 or 3 books about it if you're interested. Mission 1 begins with the forward elements of the Acadian 412th making contact with the locals and landing the first wave of casualties. The meat shields. God damn it. The father. Fuck! This is when we are introduced to General Stern, the no bullshit regimental commander that can pick up space marines in full power armor and fling them across the screen. Our first mission is to take back control over the local defense fortress, because without it our chances of capturing the Titan is about as high as finding a conscientious objector in an orc war camp. Which is not good. The mission itself is pretty easy. We have numbers on our side, so we pound the heretics base into oblivion. With the chaos base gone, our advance is halted by a big ass door and an artillery barrage. This is where things take a turn for the worse. We have to play as the Eldar. Shit! In order to make the Eldar players feel included in the narrative, we have to save the Imperials from their own incompetence. We do that by destroying the 4 generators that are powering the humongous door. Your troops will infinitely respawn from these webway portals. Do with that information as you will. With the gigantic door opened, we proceed to mission 2. The Blue Man group have landed in the wrong place with the Titan driver, and now it's up to us to go and get him. During the first mission, my groundbreaking strategy was to select my entire army and attack moving towards the enemy. Well, that was about to change. In this mission, you have to navigate a series of valleys in order to save Girly Man's blueberry cupcakes. That doesn't sound so hard now, does it? Wrong, because at the end of the first valley there are no less than 4 chaos barracks, and they enjoy very much to send wave after wave of corn berserkers at you. I had to restart this part 4 times. 4 times! I don't know what I did differently the 5th time, and I frankly don't want to talk about it. With the first valley cleared, we face our next challenge. The second valley. This one was being used by the orcs as an artillery shooting range, and they were turning our guardsmen into guard stains. But thankfully the Eldar are here to save us from our own ineptitude and lack of foresight. Oh great, we have to play as the Eldar again. Yay! Where is my spoon? I'm gonna kill myself. In this part we must make our way through the orc lines and silence the artillery. The problem is, they have killer cans. If you are a fan of Battletech, think of them as urban mechs, but instead of being armed with an Imperator B AC-10 and a Harmon Light small laser, it has buzzsaws and a big shooter. It is a big trash can on legs. I love it. It's my favorite unit in the entire game, and I can't wait to play the Orc campaign. Since I refuse to play the tutorial, I don't know what any of the Eldar units do. So I just build a bunch of different ones and fully expect them all to die without accomplishing anything of worth. And the developers actually seem to fully agree with my assessment, because instead of fighting the Orc weapons of mass garbage disposal, we have to draw them away with acts of terrorism. Also, I somehow managed to get my units stuck on the terrain, and while I probably can't blame the Eldar for this, that won't stop me, fuck you! As the last of the orc artillery fell silent, the Imperial Basilisk rolled onto the battlefield. Armed with a 132mm Earthshaker cannon capable of launching a high explosive projectile up to 15 kilometers away, this baby can turn enemy buildings into rubble and enemy combatants into gonbatons. What that means in game is that it can fire across the entire map, and that someone is probably feeling pretty silly right about about now. Mission 3. The orcs have discovered our shenanigans and they are pissed. So now we must make our escape and hope that the Imperials will save us from the consequences of our actions. To do this, we have to utilize our building's teleport ability, which is a thing I would know they had if I had played the tutorial. Which I didn't, because I'm not a child. Okay, so how do we persuade the Imperials to help us out?
If we perish, then you will never know the real threat facing all of you.
Okay, so the Eldar have contacted us being all mysterious as shit as always. They were talking about some mysterious doom mumbo jumbo, so we decided to use them as cannon fodder in the next mission. But first, we actually have to save them from the greenskins. The orcs had numbers well and truly on their side, but we had a Baneblade. Weighing in at roughly 316 tons, it weighs about as much as 5 M1A1 Abrams main battle tanks. That, combined with its 13 weapon systems, it turned their overwhelming numbers into overwhelming casualties. Having saved Eldar from their own retardation, we demanded some answers.
But remember that once I tell you the truth, I cannot untell it.
I believe in the Emperor. His is the only truth. Anything you have to say falters in comparison to that.
Okay, so the Necrons are on their way, and only with the Titan fully operational do we have any hope of surviving the Chrome Dome invasion. Mission 4 introduces us with a rather unique mechanic. In this mission, we can swap between the Imperial and Eldar forces. Both want to reach the gate at the end of the map first and claim the Titan for themselves. So naturally, I completely ignore the Eldar and focus my attention on the guard, because they're not Titan-stealing thieves. Our objective is to escort the Titan crew while they slowly make their way towards the gate. The problem is, no one else wants us to, and the driver does not know how to work a manual. And the fact that I didn't use any of the shortcuts or capture the Imperial base to the north probably didn't help my situation. I remember thinking to myself as I was building my base, man, it is too bad that I can't just use the base that is already here. That sure would be poggers. Eventually, after reloading about 4 times, I figured out that if I move stern into the Imperial base, I gain control of it. Full disclosure, this isn't the first time I have failed to utilize the things offered to me by the developers. In Mission 2, one of the valleys was covered by several anti-infantry defense turrets. The game had told me to repair a group of transports so we can cross encased in armored safety. So I sent in my engine seer to repair the transports, but nothing actually happened. So naturally I assumed that it was bugged since I was using a mod, and therefore sent all of my guys into the Valley of the Shadow of Death, where the Shadow of Death part is a very clever metaphor for bullets that will kill you dead. Anyway, with the actual base under our control, we make our way to the gate and the final mission.
You will fail this day, General. Without our soul stone, the battle will be lost. The Necrons will sweep over you and drink your life out from the hollow vessel of your corpse. Without us, you face your doom.
Eldar, die!
We must now reactivate the Titan's weapon system by building and defending 6 generators from waves of orcs and heretics, which compared to previous missions is a walk in the park. But that might just be the 2 Baneblades doing the talking. When the 4th generator is built, the Necrons appear with their massive levitating pyramids and their Chrome Dome legions. So now we have to hold the line until the remaining generators are finished, and then we show these decrepit old farts why it says humanity on the D to the galaxy.
Another monolith destroyed!
When the smoke finally clears, we are the only ones left standing, the Titan is fully operational, and we move on to the second campaign. The Forces of Disorder campaign is a mirror of the first one, which means that we play pretty much the same missions but from the perspective of the other side. And even though the Guard will always have a special place in my heart, my loyalty will always be to the biggest, baddest orc boss around.
You shut the hell up! I'm the boss!
which in this case happens to be Gorgut's Headhunter, who in Mission 1 seeks to establish himself as the biggest, meanest orc in town. To do that, we need to convince the other orcs that we are worth following.
The base is mine! You hear me, you rich and loving race?
But unlike the more civilized races, instead of killing each other until one side submits, the orcs play a unique version of Capture the Flag, where if one clan can destroy the other's big wall banner, the losers will immediately join the winner's team. This way, more boys will stay alive and be able to enjoy the experience of kicking the absolute shit out of the other races. Having done this 3 times and gathered up a respectable amount of boys, we blow up some generators for the 3rd time in this video and stage a prison break. Why do we stage a prison break, and more importantly, who are we busting out?
You boys, distract those squiggets running wild so the trainer can get in close and use that cookie juice on them. Then they'll be tame.
Having united the boys under our guiding hand, we crush the local chaos base and proceed to Mission 2, where Gorgut's flying thing has crashed prematurely and tempers are running high.
Find me another flyer boy so I can kill him instead! How am I supposed to run a war out here with no boys?
Fortunately, there is another chaos base nearby, which lifts his spirits considerably. Unfortunately, that chaos base is our base, because we are now playing as Lord Krull, the leader of the local World Eaters warband.
But
in this mission, we have 2 objectives: kill Gorguts and stop his boys from smearing shit all over our temples. The second objective is relatively simple. Just put up some defensive turrets and they will be enough to deal with most attacks. Killing Gorguts, on the other hand, is more of a challenge, mainly because he is one of the protagonists and he literally has plot armor.
not good enough, Yumi. You can't touch me behind this here sparkle thingy.
So first, we must find and destroy the generator powering it before we can have our final showdown. Also, I took a quick break at this point and forgot to record for like 20 minutes. But trust me, we destroyed the generator and it was perfect. It was perfectly planned, perfectly executed, and it was all perfect. Okay, it might have been a clusterfuck, but there is no proof of it, so no one will ever know. The guard has interrupted our honorable duel, and now the race is on to see who can destroy the Imperial base first.
Looks like the Imperial Guard's come to kick your can.
To win this race, we're going to need boys. How do we get these boys? By screaming really loudly.
Time to put out a special call. My boys! On the way ass!
God, I love the orcs. With our mob in tow, we fight our way to the base and beat the shit out of the Yumis. They say that the enemy of my enemy is my friend, so we temporarily set aside our differences with Krull and proceed to Mission 3.
Boss, can I show you guys a good orc? No!
This one is once more split into 2 parts. Part 1 is incredibly easy, because you just have to take your massive orc army and beat the absolute shit out of Stern. Part 2, on the other hand, is a little bit more of a challenge. You have to mind control 5 squads of Imperial Guardsmen and sacrifice them in the name of Khorne. It's not that the mission is hard, it's more that the Imperials really do not want you to sacrifice their friends. But that isn't all. Before we can finish the ritual, the Eldar send a small army together with an avatar of Cain to stop us. So instead of sending a bunch of blood to make Khorne happy like we planned, we use it to put a down payment on a bloodthirster in order to save our own asses.
Gorguts, what is the meaning of this? It's time I got me some Elder Skulls.
Mission 4 is the complete mirror of the Order 1, and we control both Krull and Gorguts. Both want to get to the gate, but Krull wants to stop the Ultramarines, while Gorguts just want to collect as many Eldar heads as possible, which I definitely can get behind. This mission is really hard, and I had to restart it 4 times just to get to the end of the mission, where I had to restart 6 more times just to kill the Eldar Farseer and get through the gate before the Space Marines did. And I had to cheese it just to do that. I have played this entire game on normal difficulty, and I know that I am bad at video games. But I don't remember the last time I got my shit pushed in this hard on normal. Like, what the fuck? Also, this is the first mission where we have to actually build a base as the orcs, and their economy works very differently from the other factions. How does it work? I don't know, I couldn't tell you. I tried to look it up online, but I have no idea how it works.
The Titan is worthless to me. That's why I'm gonna pound it in a scrap. You can't!
In the last mission, everyone wants to get their hands on the Titan. Everyone except for us. Our only goal is taking the skull of Krull and adding it to our collection. And we have to do it before he takes the Titan from the Imperials and turn us from Orc boys into Orc memories. This mission is relatively straightforward. Build up an army of boys, beat your way through the Imperial lines, get ambushed by the Necrons, beat the absolute shit out of them too, and then do the same to Krull. In the last cinematic, I think it was supposed to be us Gorguts facing Krull in a 1v1, but since I put him in a squad of mega armored knobs, Krull got absolutely demolished and it was fucking hilarious. And with that, Gorguts is the last orc standing and we have finished the first expansion of Dawn of War 1. It was definitely harder than the base game, which is fine. I still had a great time with it, but god damn, it was so hard. The story is a little samey, some of it feels kinda like the base game story, but it was more than weighed up by the amazing voice acting of Gorguts and Krull, both of which are over the top and I absolutely adore them. All in all, I had a great time with it and you should definitely go and try it out if you haven't. And if you have, go and try it out again anyway, because it is great. And that is all I got, so thank you all so much for watching and I will see you in the next one. Also, subscribe or I'll put cookie juice in your cereal. Peace!
Krull! Your pretty skull is mine.
I'll gut you. I'll send down Khorne's wrath upon your heads and boil the blood from your veins!
War bosses, the Imperial homies, the Eldar, those Chaos boys, and even them Necrons. That was a good war!
And your pointy stick got plenty of them skulls. Those are pretty trophies. But what you gonna do next, huh, war boss? There's nobody left to beat.
That's right! I the biggest, baddest war boss on the planet! I wonder where the nearest other planet is.